Welcome to another monthly review where I, MidnightSun, talk about how things are going on the channel. And I do say MidnightSun now, even though I haven't changed my real name. I did decide to change the name of the channel. It felt a little strange to use my real name and use my photo on the channel, so I've decided to change it into a nickname that I've been using for the past, I don't know, 14 years now maybe? So the new name is MidnightSun and I think it sounds quite nice. It certainly fits into the content more, and especially the Stellaris series. I'd like to thank my wonderful friend who made the, profile picture and the banner art for me. They are definitely very sexy, and just portrays the idea of MidnightSun very well. So, speaking of Stellaris, what the heck happened with the series? Yes, the series are at an end, at somewhat of a middle point, I'll give you that. Let me explain myself. I've already done some explaining on the final episode, but I said I would go a little bit deeper into it, so here it goes. Basically, we play a very isolationist empire that can't really start a war unless it's in liberation of its own territories. And the problem was that while the Great Khan, who united the tribals and attacked us, took our territory, that in itself is not a problem, because I can, of course, fight him back at another time, right? Well, turns out, since it wasn't technically a war wasn't declared, I'm not really able to go after him, because I was never given Liberation Castle's belly. I could continue regardless of that, of course, but it would be very out of roleplay and sort of weird way of explaining of why I don't actually try to reclaim my own territory as an isolationist. You know, it's very important for me. This is my stuff. You can't come into my stuff. So I thought of a few possible solutions. One of which was changing something in the save file so that I would have claims, like basically just editing them in with a notepad and the like, right? So as crazy as this idea seemed, I did try it. It didn't quite work because I either didn't do it correctly or I've simply added claims for another empire. I wasn't so sure and I decided not to mess with it any longer. Because firstly, I really wasn't sure what I was doing. Secondly, it was taking way too much of my time that I could be using making the next video. And thirdly, because I really didn't want to get too much into it and mess it up or have it result in nothing at all. So I scrapped that idea for a while. Of course, we could try to come back to it and I would quite like to that. As I've said, I really do enjoy this series and I'd like to continue them. But with this problem in my way, I really can't see how I would be able to progress in a way that I want to. Another suggestion that I had was to simply modify out the pacifism with a console command, which should also remove of my isolationism feature, in which case I would probably be able to pursue war again. But it requires some suspension of belief and I'm not quite comfortable in changing the direction of the whole empire. It just didn't feel right, so I thought I had no real answer to this issue. And the series was wrapping up nicely. It's some midpoint in the game and really in the story. But I liked how this isolationist empire happened to save a galaxy. So I thought, you know what? It's a good story. It tells a story, right? It's not just a sequence of events, it's a story. So I thought, I better leave it here. You know, I didn't want a gameplay bug to ruin the sanctity of my series, so the series did end. And I feel sorry for you guys for that, for those who have been watching, and I feel sort of pissed at first and now kind of sad about it myself. I'm also kind of excited. It's not quite the way I wanted it to end, but it's my first series finished, and even though there haven't been many of you watching, usually 2 to 3 people that have been watching regularly, and lately it's only been really about 1. But it was really nice to share that story with someone and I very much enjoyed making the videos. So of course now the question beckons, what do we do next? Perhaps a week of rest at first. I like to talk about equipment. Yes, that is very exciting equipment. You might have noticed that the quality of the audio has improved lately and then again sharply declined. That's because I got my new, much better microphone that doesn't really seem to record much of background noise, which makes the final cut very much smoother. But had to get used to a new microphone, which made my audio quality go down for a moment, so you've probably noticed a dip. But now I do have a new microphone. It's a Blue Yeti. It's pretty good. I'm pretty much enjoying it, and I hope that the quality definitely improves. I also had a monitor upgrade, so now the last video, the finale of the Stellaris series, was in was it 1090, 1080 something definition, the standard definition that people actually now use, not my old 720p monitor, right? So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I can now actually make some quality content, and people can reject me based on the content, not on the quality of audio or video of itself. So that's pretty exciting to me. So yes, what is next for the channel? That's a good question. I can't quite answer it honestly, but I've been dabbling with Pillars of Eternity 2. I've been experimenting with doing Path of the Damned Iron Man run and just see how far we can get into the game. Of course, it has become quite problematic because recently the difficulty overall has increased in Pathfinder. So I've been trying to experiment with that. I've made a couple of runs just to see whether it's a viable option or we should just downgrade to veteran. But I think it's doable. We'll have to maximize our build a little bit, get some of those faceless NPCs in our party to help us out until we can recruit the story NPCs. But I think it's pretty doable, and it's probably what I'll be doing next. Other than that, I wanted to make a video about a game in development by Iron Tower Studios. I'm excited about people coming over and talking about a video game that I would also enjoy to play. So that's definitely exciting, and I think if I could generate just a little bit of attention for the game, that would also be good, because it's an exciting kind of game, and I'd like to help it out in the little way that I can. I have other less concrete plans in mind also. I'd like to do something like the Pillars 2 run with other games as well, where we just take one character, enter it at the hardest possible difficulty, and just see how long our character survives and in what gruesome base it can go. I thought I would call this series Deadly Run. Let me know what you think of the name. So this is pretty much the horizon as far as new series. The next question is, how is the channel doing overall? While I can't really be proud of any of the numbers, let's address my efficiency first and foremost. I've tried to do a couple of test weeks to see how much time and effort can I realistically spend in a week to possibly carve out 2 videos. I got to the point where I could do like 1.5, but at some point I would slow down, and even though I would have somewhat of a head start going into the next week, at the end of the week it would still be 1 video and I've developed no reserve to draw on. For now I just want to work on something sporadically, and once it becomes clear that we have a few episodes, that's when it becomes a series, and from that point on it will have its own time slot and regularity will come in. So that's pretty much everything this month. New microphone, new monitor, an end to the series, an end to my experiment of making more than 1 video a week. Turns out it's not really viable unless I try really hard and probably burn out. And the Pillars of Eternity 2 video in the plans. That's all for now, thanks for watching, and I hope you were mildly entertained.